1-800-900-9450 right now.
Investigate TV is here.
We feel like it's a form of voter suppression.
Digging deep into the topics that matter to you.
You almost seem speechless.
Watch Investigate TV.
Come on in to Davis Appliance and Furniture, where you can find the best deals in town. It's tax time, so when that refund comes in, it's the perfect time to get the appliances you've always wanted. For the brands you trust at the lowest prices, visit us at Davis Appliance and Furniture.
Thanks for watching News 12 on your side.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12, First at 5.
Next, live at 5, Vice President Kamala Harris in Columbia today to talk about getting better internet access to South Carolinians.
Plus, one mother using her pain to help other families in need. We'll explain in just a moment. But first, live at 5, Alec Murdaugh's brother takes the stand in his defense today. The double murder trial of Alec Murdaugh enters its 6th week. Today, jurors heard from the defendant's brother, John Marvin.
And the defense called John Marvin to the stand as its 14th and likely final witness there.
Nick Neville is outside the Colleton County Courthouse. And Nick, what were some of the key takeaways from John Marvin's testimony?
John Marvin testified that Alec Murdaugh was a loving husband and father. He said that his boys, Buster and Paul, always came first. And though he acknowledged that Maggie and Alec's relationship did have hiccups, he says they had a good marriage. He also said that he'd have to create a new word to describe how distraught Alec was after the killings. John Marvin Murdaugh described the moments when his brother told him that Maggie and Paul were killed.
Alec called me and just absolutely hysterical. As soon as I heard his voice, I knew something bad was going on. Didn't know what.
He says he went to the kennels the day after the murders with blood still all over the crime scene.
Felt like it was the right thing to do. I felt like I owed him, and I started cleaning. And I can promise you, no mother or father or aunt or uncle should ever have to see and do what I did that day. It's the hardest thing I've ever been through in my life.
He also says the family was extremely cooperative throughout the investigation, and he was baffled by the law enforcement release shortly after the killings that said there wasn't a danger to the public. Earlier, the defense called crime scene analyst Timothy Palmbach to the stand, who said that in his expert opinion, he believes 2 shooters killed Maggie and Paul.
My opinion is the totality of the evidence is more suggestive of a 2-shooter scenario. Well, I think minimally, that shooter is getting covered with this material, getting more or less the shockwave of that effect. Therefore, I think that particular shooter, for a brief period of time, is kind of out of this. It's not as if they can instantaneously suffer that, drop the shotgun, run to wherever the the blackout rifle is, pick that up, and then in any kind of a reasonable time period engage in a meaningful assault.
Palmbach also testified to a key element of the defense's case, that the investigation was shoddy and SLED possibly missed evidence. He mentioned footprints in the feed room. However, he did back up previous testimony from state witnesses who said that Paul did not appear to have any defensive wounds. In Walterboro, I'm Nick Neville.
In the coming days, jurors will visit the Murdaugh family hunting lodge where Maggie and Paul Murdaugh were both killed.
The presiding judge in the case, Clifton Newman, approved the jury to view this morning following a request from Murdaugh's defense team.
So another interesting turn in that we can get to see the jurors go to that family home there.
Yeah, it's been an interesting case, and you can continue to watch it live on our app and streaming devices.
Turning to weather now, it's a pretty rough weather moving in late into the week in just about 10 minutes.
An Augusta mother is turning her pain into action tonight. Clara Taylor has lost 2 children to gun violence.
Now she's working to start a nonprofit to help other families in need. Our Hallie Turner talked to her about how they got this started.
Clara Taylor tells me the highlight of her life as a mother was raising her 8 children to be strong, independent, loving, full of respect of everyone. But after her son Marcus was killed in a drive-by shooting back in 2006, she quickly realized the world doesn't work the same. Over the next 15 years, she would lose 2 more children, one to a motorcycle accident, and then the most recent, her daughter, murdered, also at the hands of gun violence in South Augusta in 2020. The death toll in the CSRA since April of 2022 now surpasses 70. So many link back to gun violence, and that affects families on both sides of the river. Clara says with 2 children now dead as a result of gun violence and the number continuing to grow, she wanted to create a space to help as many mothers as she could overcome what she has been through.
Education, because a lot of them is a lack of education on things, you know, in life. When I lost my first child, I didn't know what I was supposed to do next. I didn't know if I'm supposed to go to the funeral home. I don't know nothing about that. I didn't know. You're just sitting there frozen. I want Mother Fight to come in and say, okay, baby, this is your next step.
And coming up all new tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we hear about what she wants to do and what her fight is all about.
All right, thanks for that update there, Hallie. Happening right now in Washington, D.C., President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris celebrating Black History Month. This is a live look inside tonight's reception there at the White House. Just hours ago, Vice President Harris was in South Carolina to highlight the Biden administration's work to expand broadband access nationwide.
Our South Carolina State House reporter Mary Green has the details from Benedict College in Columbia, where the Vice President made an announcement about those efforts during her stop today.
During her trip here to Benedict College on Monday, Vice President Kamala Harris announced the Biden administration is allocating $175 million in federal grants to connect young Americans with affordable high-speed internet.
These investments will be transformative because we know when we connect folks with high-speed internet, we connect them with opportunity.
This money is going to 61 minority-serving institutions, including HBCUs. In South Carolina, Harris says Benedict College and Claflin University will each be receiving about $3 million. This is money they can use to strengthen campus Wi-Fi, expand laptop loan programs, and connect students with telehealth, including for mental health appointments, among other uses. The White House says it's targeting these schools in this program because it recognizes they're part of communities that have historically faced a disproportionate lack of access.
We have to be intentional. And many of those that we have focused on currently do not have reliable access to high-speed internet on campus.
The money for this program is part of the billions of dollars the federal government is putting toward expanding affordable broadband through the American Rescue Plan Act and the bipartisan infrastructure law, both of which President Biden signed into law in 2021. Reporting Columbia, I'm Mary Green.
Thanks, Mary. This was Harris's 4th trip to South Carolina since becoming vice president and the 3rd in about the last 9 months. And on Thursday, former Vice President Mike Pence is making his way back to South Carolina. Pence will stop in North Charleston and Greenville. He's planning to meet with local law enforcement in both areas, and afterwards he'll be at Bob Jones University in Greenville for a discussion.
Former mayor of Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms, is leaving the White House, and the former mayor of Columbia is taking her position. President Biden announcing Stephanie Benjamin is the director of the Office of Public Engagement and an advisor today. Benjamin was the mayor of Columbia from 2010 to 2021 and currently serves as the CEO of the Benjamin Firm, a law consulting firm. The former Atlanta mayor says she is leaving the role to be with her family. This just in, the Murdaugh defense has rested in the case. Now, earlier today, we heard testimony from the last witness, Alec Murdaugh's brother.
We showed you those live pics earlier. That was them leaving the courtroom. And in the coming days, jurors will visit the Murdaugh family hunting lodge where both Maggie and Paul Murdaugh were both killed. Well, if you've been sneezing and coughing, the pollen is back. Meredith raising her hand.
Yes, y'all, it is awful if you have sinus problems.
Well, stick around to find out when that relief may be on the way, Riley.
Well, we could see a little bit better rain chances towards the end of the week, but unfortunately, along with the rain, we're talking about the risk for severe weather. I have an update on that full forecast just after the break.
More than 150 professional anglers are coming right here to Clarks Hill Lake. Find out why, all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Time. Carolina, even into portions of North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama. So right now, it is looking like a very broad region that will have pretty much all the ingredients you need in order to produce severe storms. We're going to have a bunch of moisture ahead of this strong front. That front's going to be our lift. We're going to have some instability and also a lot of wind shear with this. So the main concern is going to be for damaging straight line winds. Also, the potential for some tornadoes can't be ruled out either. At the moment, instability looks to be relatively low, but other ingredients are going to be high. The lift, the shear, and a good bit of moisture as well for this time of year. So we're going to have those ingredients available to maybe produce some severe storms towards the end of the week. Looking at our two long-range models, we're looking at Cape values here, so available potential energy in our atmospheres for these storms to tap into. Most of these models are keeping it below 1,500 joules, which is usually weak instability, but once again, with the other ingredients, we can definitely produce some severe weather. So there is a first alert in effect. This goes for everybody. This is going to be on Friday to where we have that best potential, and the timing of that will kind of determine exactly how bad those storms is. So if it's timed out for the afternoon, definitely going to have to monitor that very closely. You can scan that QR code. This will take you to the latest forecast for Friday. Definitely going to be a week to where you need to keep updated with the forecast as we do get closer towards that Friday. Now, take a look at your 7-day forecast. We do have mostly dry weather tomorrow, Wednesday, chance for storms Thursday, but keep an eye on that Friday forecast.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. If you are coughing and sneezing and getting steroids and antibiotics from your doctor like me, yeah, the pollen is back, but we don't have to see the yellow stuff to know it. We can feel it.
Oh, yeah.
These are some viewer photos sent in, and yeah, some people not happy
Yeah, absolutely
about this.
not. No, it's on cars, doors, even creeping its way inside. Our Anthony Carpino is live at 5 with what we can expect from pollen season. Anthony, we need some good news here.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think Riley mentioned that rainfall that we're going to get by the end of the week, and that's going to be the best news that we can get because it's been dry and it has been very breezy over the last few days, and that's really stirred everything up. For this time of year, the trees should be like this, nice and bare, but we've been very warm for the month of February, so that's allowed things to really open up over the last couple of weeks. Those Bradford pears, they smell a little funky there too, look nice, but yeah, all of that pollen is there, and those pine trees giving us all of that pollen that you see, those big yellow plumes. Then as we go through the next couple of months, this will slowly but surely start to go down for us as all those flowers go away and all those big green leaves start to arrive. But here's a look back at the month of February for us. I just wanted to bring in what we saw temperature-wise over the last couple of weeks. We've had so many warm days that the average temperature, afternoon temperature, has been 7 degrees above the standard average for the month of February. That is very, very warm conditions for us, and that's pretty much why that we've seen all of this pollen. I've shown this graphic before, but I thought it was worth showing again. The lighter the reds, the whitish pinkish color, is actually when we started the season 20 days early. That's thanks to all that warm weather. Now the forecast as we go through the next couple of days, unfortunately it is looking to stay very, very high for us. More rain that we get by the end of the week, that will help to drop those pollen levels, guys. We'll be right back after this break.
Let's rock! And if you prayed that prayer, call that number right now that's on the screen. We've got people that like to speak. God bless you.
That day, we made a promise. A promise that we made for a lifetime. She gave life new purpose. With her, beautiful things began to grow. She knows how to keep the party going, and is always up for the challenge. Her smile and her dance moves fuel me every day. She's the key to my heart, and the lock that holds us together.
Let's rock! Dodge Jeep Ram.
Giving birth can be a costly experience, especially for mothers who prefer to have their baby at home. One woman says she thought her care was covered, but then she got a shock when they denied her reimbursement. leaving her with a nearly $10,000 delivery bill.
Yeah, consumer investigator Carice Jackman teamed up with Kaiser Health News to share one mother's challenge trying to deal with costly care.
Vanessa Garcia Clark and her husband Andres adore their son Emmett.
Full of energy and activity. I wish I had all that he does. I have coffee, he doesn't.
Clark wanted a non-traditional birth, something more personal than a hospital room. She hired a midwife and delivered Emmett at home.
The entire amount that was asked to be reimbursed by insurance was about $9,700.
Clark paid her midwife in full and waited on their insurance company to reimburse them.
After the fact, once they saw the bill, I thought they'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. We should do this more often, you know? And that, of course, isn't what happened.
Her benefits administrator denied the claim. She sent the insurance company a request for an internal appeal, arguing that because of the Affordable Care Act, prenatal and well child care are all covered services under their health plan, and therefore cannot be denied, regardless of the provider she chose. But insurance denied her claim again, saying Clark's midwife was not a certified midwife, and because certified midwives are not covered, they'll uphold the denial. So you may be asking, what's the difference? According to the American College of Nurse Midwives, a certified nurse midwife is a registered nurse who also has completed intensive graduate level studies in midwifery. A certified midwife also goes through a graduate level nurse midwifery program. The main difference is they are not RNs. Then there are also certified professional midwives who go through training specific to the birthing field, but may not have taken a traditional nursing or healthcare college track. That's the type of provider Clark's midwife is, and she's also licensed in the state of California. Since November, we've contacted Clark's insurance administrator multiple times by email and phone to explain her denial. The company said in an email that it makes decisions based on plan requirements and applicable law, and said due to a respect for privacy, the spokesperson declined to comment on Clark's case. For some mothers, at-home births are not only a different option, but cost-effective. Dr. Elizabeth Rosenthal, editor-in-chief of Kaiser Health News, says before you give birth, ask your insurance provider very detailed questions so you're not caught by surprise.
Try to negotiate. Say, wow, $9,000 sounds a lot like a lot of money for an uncomplicated birth. How about I'll give you $5,000? And the really weird thing is often they'll say $5,000 up front, we'll take it, right? So never say I'll just pay the first bill. Always say, like, can I give you less and will you take it?
Clark doesn't regret her decision. She just hopes that by speaking out about this issue, it will shed light on a topic she feels is rarely discussed.
What kept me going was that I felt like if I put in this extra time, maybe, just maybe, change would happen and other women wouldn't have to fight so hard and they'd be able to bond with their babies.
For Investigate TV, I'm Carice Jackman.
Come on into Davis Appliance and Furniture, where you can find the best deals in town. It's tax time, so when that refund comes in, it's the perfect time to get the furniture you've always wanted. For the brands you trust at the lowest prices, visit us at Davis Appliance and Furniture.
The President's in Waynesboro. Get 10 grand off.
Furniture.
The President's Day Sales Event. Today in Waynesboro, get 10 grand off on Ram 1500 Bighorns.
Take the short drive down 25 to save more.
Interest rates as low as 1.9%.
Shop 24/7 at goodtogowaynesboro.com.
I got hurt in a car wreck.
Free!
New Jeep Compass Latitudes in Waynesboro, just $27,200.
Choose your vehicle and we'll bring it to you.
The President's Day Sales Event, all month long.
Low financing and payments to fit your budget.
Come on into Davis Appliance and Furniture, where you can find the best deals in town. It's tax time, so when that refund comes in, it's the perfect time to get the furniture you've always wanted. For the brands you trust at the lowest prices,